Okay, I have my cover off, my float bowl, and it's pretty clean in there. It's not too bad. It's got a little bit of kind of something in there, but it's not too bad. It seems to be okay. My gasket seems to be welded on there, so I'm going to take this gasket off and put a new gasket on. I have the new gasket here. Incidentally, they come in plastic bags that are made out of depleted uranium. So make sure you have yourself a razor blade or a depleted uranium cutting device, or you will distort your gasket. It's kind of like going to Walmart. You can buy the groceries and spend all that money, but getting them home is another thing. You can get all these gaskets and things, but if you can't get them out of the packages, I don't know who designs these things, but that's the way it is. Okay, I have a 15/64" wrench. I'm sure it's metric, but it's not. My wrench is not. I don't have a metric wrench at that small. And there's our jet. And if you look at it, you can't see it from here, but it does say 260 on this to 280. 280. So somebody had this leaned out really bad, because this is a 280 stock, is a 360. So we're going to put a 360 back in it. This is where the fuel is going to draw up through the carburetor. It draws up through that hole from the float bowl, and the needle goes in that little, you can't see it, right there, that little thing in the center. So it's an emulsifier tube. It's got holes in it, and it mixes gas and air together. Kind of comes squirting up out of there. Well, not air, but the gas comes out of there. Kind of has holes in it to make it so it's not so. It's kind of so it mists it, sort of. The idle jet's right here. For the sake of the camera, I've already broke it loose. Somebody put it on with 100 foot-pounds of torque, so you want to use yourself a good screwdriver to get it out. There's our little idle jet, and if you look at it, you can see through it. And so a lot of the problems with carburetors that that engines don't run, don't idle, is because gas was left in it, it got mucked up, and then it plugged up this tiny little PIMCA here. So in the event that somebody had changed it over, I'm going to put a factory 40 idle jet in it. I don't know what that is, don't even care what it is, but I know now that my mixer has a number 40 idle jet in it, and it will run like it did from the factory. So there you go. So I'm going to tighten that up. I'm going to tighten my main jet up. I'm going to put a new gasket on it. As I said, I'm going to put the cover on it. The Japanese have a sixth sense of humor, as they make these screws out of lead. The heads are made out of like pot metal or sugar and water. So if you don't use a good screwdriver, I like using a nice long, so I can put a real good twist on it, good handle, it's good and sharp, and use a number 2 screwdriver where a number 2 is needed, a number 3 where a 3 and a 1 is a 1, and you won't have any problems. On some of them, sometimes they're on there so tight that you have to use a pair of vice grips to get them off. In cases I've drilled them even, so drilled and had to retap them. Another thing you want to look at, since my carb is clean, or all these carbs were clean, this was a running engine, and I know this worked, but I wanted to look at it anyways. And right here, this is your enriching circuit. It used to be beforehand, remember this side's going into the engine. On the fat side of it, right here, old engines, they used to have a choke, and all it was is it was a butterfly that flapped up and down. And when you closed it, of course, it didn't get any air, so it sucked more gas. And that's what it did there. This here is an enriching circuit, and it's a little jet. When you pull up on it, it allows raw fuel to go inside the engine. And it's working properly. I just want to make sure it's not froze up. Sometimes when you get water in your carbs and they freeze up, or you get crap in your carburetors from old gas, these will freeze up also. You need to take and clean them out. Some really light steel wool can clean it out. Maybe a really light You know, if you can get something down in there to clean that kind of out so it goes up and down, it'll probably work pretty good, even if the carb has been severely corroded inside. Another thing neat about these carburetors is they have water traps on them, and that's what the hoses are on the bottom. If you notice, it has a hole in the bottom. Instead of having a plug at the bottom where you can drain it or whatever, these are water traps. Of course, water finds the lowest spot in the carburetor, and in this way, if you get any water in your gas, the smallest amount, it doesn't won't freeze your floats shut, and then, you know, start your engine and it might run, and then this gas is running out your overflow tube because the floats aren't floating. They're froze to the bottom or something. So essentially it allows the water to go to the bottom. Periodically you can take these caps off, and drain a little gas on them. You also drain all the stuff, the flotsam and jetsam that gets in the bottom of your carburetors. It just kind of, the stuff that the fuel filter doesn't take care of, or like if you get water in your gas. Okay, let me put these carbs together, and I'll show you what I have.